Hello everyone and welcome to another Photoshop tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be revisiting the topic of vignettes. Now I showed you how to do this in an earlier tutorial using the radial gradient tool. Now while this is a decent method and it shows some of the workings of the gradient tool, the two methods I'm going to showcase in this tutorial have some distinct advantages. We're going to start with this photo right here. Now I think this photo would particularly benefit from a vignette as it would help draw attention to the leaf down here at the bottom. The first technique we're going to showcase is really intended for something else, but works particularly well for our purposes here. To begin with, we're going to start by duplicating the layer. You can do that by grabbing the layer and just dragging it down to the new layer icon here. This will allow us to work non-destructively, and if we do not like the effect that we get, we can just delete the layer as opposed to trying to undo through a variety of steps. Now to access this, we're going to go up to the filter, we're going to go down to lens correction, and now bring up this dialog box here. I'm going to deselect show grid so we can kind of see what's going on over here. The box over here is the auto correction box, and this has a variety of preloaded profiles that allow you to make corrections automatically based on your body and lens pairing. We're not really interested in that, though this tool is pretty useful. Instead, we're going to go over to the custom tab. In the custom tab are all the fixes that the previous auto correction can do, but you can control them manually. What we're particularly interested in down here is in Vignette. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drag the amount down to the darken thing. And instead of correcting a vignette, we're actually going to create one. And that looks pretty good. We can adjust the midpoint here by either making it further or closer to the center. I like a little bit closer. And with that, we can hit OK. And the first part of our vignette is done. Now this has some problems here. You can see the whites are kind of gray, and it's obviously center located. This technique also doesn't work well for large format or particularly high resolution photos, as based on your machine it might slow down because it's pretty resource intensive. With that, I'm going to delete the layer. We're going to go on to technique 2. We're going to start once again by duplicating the layer. Same technique, drag it down to the new layer icon. And then we're going to go up to the blend modes over here, and we're going to change this to multiply. Now right off the bat, this looks okay. I mean, you could leave it like this, since this was such a bright photo to begin with. This brings it down a little bit. We're losing some detail over here, but that's not the biggest issue. What we're going to do is we're going to take this layer, and we're going to put a layer mask on it by clicking on this icon over here. Now, this hasn't done anything yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to bring the brush tool up. You can do that either by clicking over here or hitting the B tool or the B key. And then you can adjust the brush size using a number of things. We'll go up here. First things first is we're going to make sure our hardness is down at 0. And we can drag up our size up here like this. Or, more conveniently, you can use the left and right bracket keys. Just make sure you're not typing in the box here. So we'll type that out. There we go. Close out the box, and the left bracket key will make things smaller. There we go. Had a little bit of lag right there. Left key will make things smaller. Right bracket key will make things bigger. We're going to pick something a little bit bigger because we do have a soft brush. So it's going to obviously feather it out. So in this case, a little bigger is better. We're going to make sure our foreground color is black. You can either switch it like this, or X is the key to switch that. And we'll just click once here. And there you go. That's a vignette right there and there. I'm going to drag that down just a little bit because that is a little dramatic. Now once again, we do have some problems with this. First of all, let's say we have some adjustment layers in here, and I'll just throw something goofy in here. If we duplicate this layer down here, drag that to the top to multiply, it's not quite the same effect that if we truly added a vignette to this photo here. So there's a couple ways around this. I'm going to delete this layer down here too. One of the things we can do is we can create a stamp visible layer. And the keyboard shortcut for that is Command or Control, Option or Alt, Shift, and E. Just make sure you're selected on your top layer there in the Layers panel. And what they'll do is they'll merge all your layers down into a single layer right here. As you can see, if we toggle that on, there's no difference. So what we're going to do is we can do that, and we can do that, convert that to a multiply blend mode, and do the same thing we just did. That's all fine and dandy, but with this, we also run into the same problems that we did with the lens correction, in the sense that if you have a high resolution photo or something with a lot of information in it, it's really going to be slow and your computer's not going to like it. So instead what we can do is we can create any sort of adjustment layer. I usually just do curves because I use a lot of curves layers. And we can change the blend mode of that down to multiply. And you'll notice it'll do the same thing. And with the easy little tap of our brush again on the layer mask, we have the same thing. With no need to create a stamp visible layer, as well as no need to worry about what other layers we have below that, so on and so forth. And just to demonstrate that, I'll turn that off for a minute. And I will just create a contrast one. It's a little bit dramatic. Let's put in a hue saturation. Maybe let's drag the saturation down a little bit. And if we turn that back on, you'll see there's no added saturation from that, as it would be in the original here. And it really works well. The other advantage being is that it's very resource friendly, in the sense that you're not trying to create a stamp visible layer of all this information here. Plus, if you want to go back and change this, you're not locked into anything based on your stamp visible layer. And with that, that is 2 additional ways on how to create a vignette on a photo. Thanks for watching.